We'll learn more, at least from his perspective. The reason it takes long is to put together cases, which is what the FBI and other law enforcement agencies were doing. They have to piece it together just as we started piecing it together on the night of the attack. We want to know who was behind it, what the motivation of the leaders and the attackers happened to be. There are still some unanswered questions. It was, after all, the fog of war. But I'm absolutely convinced that the United States and all of our various agencies with all of our professionals, including the Congress, is piecing together the best information we can find.
Interesting, that question there at the bottom. What still don't you know about Benghazi? I think also America is now asking, what do we still need to know about Hillary Clinton? Town hall meeting that sometimes sounded like indeed a candidate putting forth a platform. Discuss it all. Let's welcome back to Midpoint. Author, blogger, and top seller on Amazon's Women in Politics list, Anita Finlay joins us today. Anita, thanks so much for being with us.
Hi, Ed. Good afternoon. Great to be back.
It is a pleasure to have you back, and here we go. All right, first of all, just your first take on what you saw from Hillary Clinton at the town hall. First takeaway.
I think she was fluid. I think she was confident, and she is more than willing to give answers to any question posed to her. What I thought was really funny was the analysis that we saw from CNN afterwards. These people are just downright ungrateful. It really cracks me up because they're asking her, well, she didn't put forth a platform for what she would do as president. And it's like you asking me, well, are you going to win the Indy 500 and how are you going to do it when I haven't even signed up to enter the race yet? I mean, I think it's a little bit ridiculous, but I thought that she looked relaxed. She was funny at times. I think that people saw a warmer person than perhaps they would have expected from the kind of media spin that we usually get. And she answered questions on a whole host of topics. She looked pretty comfortable to me. So.
Is it not fair to say, though, that, and certainly there's also been a lot of discussion about Diane Sawyer, some of the questions that she asked Mrs. Clinton as well. And again, talking to some of the people on the inside, they expected, I think, to have a little bit easier time with some of her friendlies, if you will. But it seems as if everybody is not going to be friendly this time. They are going to ask the tough questions regardless of who they are and how long they have known Mrs. Clinton.
Well, that's very true, Ed, but that's why I wrote Dirty Words on Clean Skin. You would be surprised that her biggest enemies in 2008, if you want to put it that way, were people on the left. They were just trashing her one side to the other because they preferred Barack Obama. They preferred his talking points to whatever her experience was. And I think we have to be very careful as saying that the media is going to treat her as some quote-unquote porcelain princess. Nothing could be further from the truth. I like to call her the Meryl Streep of politics because I think that she's graded on her own curve. If you put any one of the other potential candidates in a room and had them grilled the way she has been, I think that you'd find them figuratively hiding under the desk. You'd be surprised. So I think we expect an awful lot from her, and we should expect a lot from a leader if indeed she does enter the ring to do so. But if we're expecting anyone to give her an easy time, absolutely not. That's not going to happen.
Is it not fair to say, though, that there is going to be some discussion because if you listen to some of the media wonks out there, they'll tell you that she is now clarifying her position on such subjects as gay marriage. Let's be real fair here. Whether it's Hillary Clinton or anybody, when you start to come to a point where you are campaigning, everybody starts to clarify positions. So wouldn't it be fair to say that there's no real shock that there's certain things that are coming out and certain things, let me clarify, let me smooth things out as you get ready to move forward?
Well, let's talk about what clarifying means. As First Lady, this is someone who has been marching in gay pride parades. I don't remember anybody else of her stature doing that. And she's very much in favor of gay rights, as she is of women's rights and minorities' rights. She has always been very forthright and out there in terms of who she's fighting for. So I think her record is very clear and very positive. As far as evolving on gay marriage, well, the president evolved on gay marriage too. And she said, as most of the nation has. So I don't know that there's any big problem with any of that. And certainly if she declares by the time she runs, she's already said, I believe in marriage for everyone, and who you love should not determine what rights you have in this nation. I think she's correct about that. So I don't know if it comes to a run, Ed, I don't see why that's going to be a problem.
Would it be important for her right now? Certainly the Obama administration has its own problems right now and taking its own criticisms Syria, Iraq, Benghazi. The list is just endless here. But does it not behoove Mrs. Clinton at this point to put as much distance as she can between herself and the president and try specifically to just get away from it, because there's always that fear that you're going to be besmirched simply because you are still close to the current sitting president, who certainly has his own problems with public opinion?
I think that's a very good point, Ed. You know, she put a little distance between herself and the president on Syria, making clear that she was in favor of arming the moderates there early on, and that proposal got nixed, even though there was a serious push for it. But by the same token, she even said in her book, she said, look, I'm going to share with you disagreements. I'm going to share with you as much as I can about what happened while I was Secretary of State. There are certain things, if I had disagreements with the president, I will not share just out of respect. I will not bash the sitting president. And as she said in one of her interviews, you know, she has had close relations with three presidents, President Bush, Obama, and also Clinton, and she's disagreed with all of them. So I think it's fair to say that she's her own person. You know, she's not going to come out and put a great deal of distance. She's got to walk a fine line, because she's still a Democrat. And contrary to how a lot of the media tried to paint her as some conniving, backstabbing, you know, we see that this is nonsense. And we see that she really is a loyal soldier. So I think she has to thread the needle quite carefully there.
Okay, you just said a couple of key words in there: thread the needle, walk the line, do all this, and you're exactly right. Is it not fair to say that she is walking the line on Iraq right now, and those who press her simply are not going to get a whole lot more, that she is going to hold off and wait? Because, again, trying to be as honest as possible here, it's not really smart for her to come out and really take that hard position right now when she has so much time left to, in a sense, campaign.
Oh, absolutely. But Ed, you know, this is what I'm talking about when I use the word ungrateful before. People are acting as if she is president of the United States now, and are calling her to account and to answer when she is now currently a private citizen. So if she were to comment, you know, think about how such a person on the left or right would be lambasted for second guessing and questioning the president. So I think we have to be careful what our expectations are here. It really is unreasonable. She's not, now that she is a private citizen, no matter what her contacts are, she's not privy to the same security briefings and information that she was as Secretary of State. So I think that, you know, you can ask for her opinion if you like, but it's a little unfair to try and put her, you know, on the firing line, as it were, to answer these sorts of questions when she's not in charge of policy right now.
All right, I'm going to play the other side of that, because there are a number of people who will say it is fair to put her on the firing line, because she has not said that she won't run for president. She is a potential candidate. She's being looked at it. She hasn't discounted it. So it is fair to put her right in the corner, ask the hard question, and expect the hard answer, to which you would say.
I would say she can answer any question you like, Ed. This person has shown that she is not afraid to step up to the plate. You saw that in the interviews that she's done. She also did a fabulous interview with the BBC the other day, talking about the book Hard Choices and answering any number of questions. And you would absolutely say that that was hardball questioning by Jeremy Scahill. So I have no doubt that she's more than ready. When I say unfair, I just mean from the perspective of, you know, how we look at politicians and who we're grilling and who we're giving a pass to. You can ask her anything you like, and I'm sure she's going to answer, as long as we're aware she is not currently president of the United States. So it is not her foreign policy that we're talking about. So that's what I see sometimes, that people act as though they want to place blame or responsibility on her for something she's not even in the middle of it right now. If you want her opinion, likely you're going to get it, and you might get more than you bargained for.
Something that she did come out, and I wanted to give you get your opinion on this, during the town hall. She was asked about guns, which is a very popular topic with a lot of people these days. She said that the viewpoint held by gun rights advocates terrorizes the majority of Americans. What's your take?
Well, she used a very strong word that I think people bristled at, but, you know, as there was a panel afterwards that commented, and I believe that they were saying on CNN that even a lot of Republicans who are gun owners do favor some sort of background check. They do favor some sort of modification to the current law as it stands. I personally don't see the reason why any regular citizen, you want to have a hunting rifle, great. I'm not sure I get why you need an assault rifle, you know, to have in your back pocket. It just makes it that much easier to do damage if you have bad actors out there who have bad intentions to harm other people. So I think she used a strong word deliberately, and I'm sure that's going to get a lot of flack too. But she's a blunt speaker, and I think I'm wondering, Ed, what you feel about this. Do you think the American people are ready for somebody who is as blunt as she is? Maybe that's something refreshing. Maybe that's something that we might need more of. I hope it continues.
I will tend to agree with you that I think, but again, I'm always one who says that everybody has to look at both sides, and I think too often we only look at one side, we walk away from the other, and sometimes we enjoy the fluff answers. As I said last hour, I used a George Carlin bit that talked about how Washington gives us all these wonderful, flowery words, but they never really say anything. So I will agree with you there. I would much prefer somebody to just be blunt, tell me exactly how they feel. 30 seconds. In your opinion, has she made any missteps along this way on the book tour?
I think that according to the media, she has, but I think any minor flubs about dead broke and so on, if you look at who she is and what she's bringing to the table, I think she's been pretty spot on. And when you see, commentators saying otherwise, sometimes that just sounds like a kind of a cynicism or a fear to me. I think if she steps into the ring, then we're really going to see what she's made of in terms of a party platform. Now, as far as I'm concerned, she's a private citizen selling a book.
Anita, Finlay, thanks for joining us. And remember, next time you join us, I'm going to ask you how you're going to win the Indy 500. I just wanted to go ahead and give you that right up front.
My helmet first.
I'll get you all set for it. Thanks so much for joining us, Anita.
My pleasure. Thank you, Ed.
All right, America, you've had a chance to see it. We talk about it. Hillary Clinton in her town hall and what she said. Did it change your mind, and what's your take? Tell us on Twitter, email, and Facebook right here on Midpoint, where we question everything.
Meet Jill.